Hey guys, what's up? Today we'll discuss about networks lecture part 2. If you are new to this channel, please watch networks part 1. Please watch networks part 1 in the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe this channel for more content related to GATE, IAS and PSU and other technical topics and other trending topics, current affairs and so on. There is a huge difference. Let me tell you friends, there is a huge difference between getting taught by a normal professor or normal faculty and getting taught by a candidate who already cleared GATE and IAS. The main difference thing is the approach. The concept is same but approach is different. That will get you exact rank in GATE examination or IAS or PSU and so on. So let us start now. So today's topics are source transformation, superposition theorem, Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem and some special concepts. So before going to source transformation, let me teach you some special concepts. If you have a current source with no parallel resistance, then you can convert this into equivalent physical current sources. Let me explain with the help of example. If you have a current source like this and we have resistances, node A, node B, node C. Here you can see the current source. If you consider this portion, current source have no resistance to it, and here at node A, I amount of current is delivering to node C. So now how you convert this is, this node A, and node A is giving I amount of current. So if you consider here, the same current source has been represented with two equivalent current sources. The effect is same. From node A to node C, I amount of current is going. If you see the path also, I amount of current is going. The current at this juncture will not divide into this branch. Why? Because it has some resistance and current follows the least circuit path, so it will go like this, right? Yes. So this can be converted into equivalent voltage sources. Since current is parallel in resistance, right? You can convert into voltage source. You can convert this also into voltage source and two voltage source in series. You can convert into one voltage source by adding V1 plus V2 and resistance in series. So finally, this circuit can be shown as voltage source in series with one resistance. So this amount of simplification is there in this simple concept, right? Yes. And one more area of confusion for students is like this. We have a network 1, you have a network 2, and they have connected network 1 and network 2 with some wire, and they will say they will find the amount of current flowing in I. To confuse you, they will provide whatever complex network here and whatever complex network here. To confuse you, they will give some voltage V1, V2, 10, 2, 3 and all and so on, and find current I. See here carefully, the current I to current flow, for a current to flow in a circuit, generally current flows in a closed path, right? Current flows in a closed path. Since the current is flowing from network 1 to network 2, it needs one more path to make it closed. But here the closed path is absent, so the current flowing in this is I is equal to 0. So what exactly the circuit should be to get the current is like this. If they have given circuit like this and asked you find current I1, and then you can calculate this complex circuit and undo analysis. Here I1 amount current is leaving, right? So same I1 amount of current is coming back. Second area of confusion for students is this. Okay, done. And now we will start with source transformation. It is source transformation is already explained in previous lecture. I will just revise once again. A voltage source having a resistance in series is converted into current source with having resistance in parallel, right? Why I have mentioned I starting this subject with source transformation is very interesting. This Thevenin's and Norton theorem, right? These two theorems are source transferable. Means if you have a Thevenin's voltage, I will explain what is Thevenin's voltage, what is Thevenin's resistance, but for time's sake, if you have a Thevenin's voltage VTH and RTH, then you can convert this VTH and RTH into Norton's equivalent current IN in RN. So here the relation is IN is equal to VTH by RTH and RN is equal to RTH. For time being, just see this. We'll come back to this particular topic when we completed Thevenin's and Norton's theorems. And coming to superposition theorem. Now since I have a problems in next coming pages, I will write down and I will erase the topic after topic is done. So you please pause the video and take a note if you wanted to. So now we'll go for superposition theorem, in short SPT. The definition is in any linear, highlighting these two words, linear active bilateral network consisting of energy sources, resistance, etc. Right? Etc. The effect in an element, the effect in an element due to all sources is equal to sum of effects due to individual sources. If you have any confusion in the handwriting, kindly follow the audio. Okay, right. Now I'll explain each area of confusion and how gate examination people will trick you with these keywords. Since the definition has some linear, right? So if in examination we have a circuit which is very similar to the circuit in your notebook, but in examination in the same circuit they will add one diode, and entire circuit, other circuit which is network or anything or load will be same as like your notes or sample questions or previous year gate, and they will ask you to find the amount of current flowing through resistance R, right? But here the trick point is diode is non-linear element, and to know what is linear and non-linear elements, kindly refer my video 1 which shows examples of linearity and what are bilateral elements, what are active and what are passive. These classifications already taught in lecture 1, right? Now I am using this in lecture 2. That's why I have said whatever I am teaching here are the core basics, what very these linear active bilateral elements are taught in lecture 1. Okay, so in this place you should not use SPT, right? Yes. And active means the network contains source, right? Source. And bilateral, you all know that in graph 1 and 3 is equal to 1, 4. This you will find out in lecture 1. And linearity they will ask with theory bit. Can superposition theorem applies to power calculation? Yes or no? Pause the video and have your answer, and I will explain what is the answer. So you got the answer right? Yes, you are correct. You can't apply this. Why? Say for example, you have a resistor, right? And you have a network, and due to some source 1, the current flowing resistor is I1, and due to some source 2, the current flowing resistance I2. For example, it is due to V1 and due to V2. This network contains two voltages, V1 and V2. Okay. Now power due to I1 is equal to I1 square into R1. Power due to I2 is equal to I2 square into this R, not R1, R. Then what is power due to I1 plus I2? Is P is equal to I1 plus I2 whole square into R, which is equal to I1 square I2 square plus 2 I1 I2 into R, which is equal to P1 plus P2 plus 2 I1 I2 into R P. But as per superposition theorem, it should be P is equal to P1 plus P2. Why? The amount of the effect due to sum of the elements is equal to effect due to the total element, right? So but it is not satisfying. So superposition theorem can't be applied to power calculations, right? So pause the video and note on this. We will go to next topic. Yeah. Our topic is Thevenin's theorem. There are three categories in Thevenin's theorem. These categories are not as per textbook standards. I have made into three categories, and you can say two categories also. What the Thevenin's theorem says, it is same. It is same like superposition theorem. In any linear, active, bilateral network, if any open terminal is defined, say for example, this is the network, and they have defined some terminals A and B. So then this network can be replaced as a voltage source in series with a resistance. This is called Thevenin's theorem. So if you replace an entire complex network into a voltage source in series with resistance, it is called Thevenin's theorem. If you replace this same network with current source in parallel with one more resistance, it is called Norton's theorem. So theorem definition you have seen, right? Yes, Norton's theorem, Thevenin's theorem. Don't worry, we will be solving more questions on Thevenin's and Norton's theorem for clarity, right? Yes. So now, what are the categories? The category is mainly about how you calculate RTH, right? In category 3, will come from last. In category 3, the circuit has no active element, contains dependent sources only. It is category 3. And what is category 2? Circuit contains both active and dependent sources. Category 1, circuit contain no dependent sources. These are the 3 categories. So this is the theory behind the theorems. Now I will explain in detail how to do the calculations, right? Yes. Wait a minute. Yeah. First question is about find current I1 flowing through 2 ohm resistors using SPT. SPT means superposition theorem. And what is superposition theorem says? Superposition theorem says the total current in any element is equal to sum of the currents due to individual elements. So this current I1 is due to this 10 volts times is due to 10 volts. This current I2 is due to 2 ohms. Okay. So first step 1 is finding I1 means considering only 10 volts. Neglect 2 amperes. How you neglect a current source? You neglect a current source by open circuiting that element, right? Yes. These 10 volts. 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 3 ohm. Current I1. So current I1 is equal to 10 by 3, right? 10 by 3. Step 2. Finding current I2 due to 2 amperes only. 10 volts, neglect. How you neglect voltage source? You neglect voltage source by short circuiting, right? Yes. Two amperes, 3 ohms, 2 ohms, 1 ohm. So don't do that parallel theorem because we need current in 2 ohms only. If you combine these 2 resistances, then the 2 ohms will be gone and it will be replaced by 2 by 3. So don't combine these two. Current in 2 ohms. So here the current is 2 ohms. So current division rule. The current flowing in 2 ohms is equal to I2 is equal to total current into opposite resistance 1 ohm plus sum of resistance 2 by 3 2. So total current I is equal to 10 by 3 plus 2 by 3 12 by 3 4 amperes, right? So it is so much easy in examination. You can solve this problem even without superposition theorem also. How you can solve? Say for example, current is flowing 2 amperes and you have 10 volts here and you need a branch voltage here, and you all know that to find any current you should go for mesh or nodal analysis. So say for example, you consider this nodal voltage as P and do the nodal analysis, you will find the answer I. So either you should go superposition theorem or nodal, but since it is specified SPT, I solve with SPT. The second question in SPT. Here it is dependent source. Which dependent source it is? Current controlled voltage source. To know about the type of dependent sources, please follow lecture 1 in which I have explained in the last 1 or 2 minutes about type of dependent sources. So now we have asked to calculate I1, right? Yes. So what are the steps, students? Step 1. Here for example, I1, right? Using SPT. Now there are 3 sources. 3 steps can be done. One is considering only 10 voltage, suppress 2 ohms, 5 volts. So now the circuit will be, current source will be open circuited. Don't forget, I did the same mistake when I was preparing. Current source should be open circuited and voltage source should be short circuited. Current is I1, IY, 1 ohm, 10Y, 10 volts. So now amount of current flowing in IY, right? So here the voltage is 10 volts. Here the voltage is 10 iy. So current iy is equal to 10 minus 10 I by y by iy. Yeah, by 1. Correct. So 11 iy is equal to 10. Iy is equal to 10 by 11. 1. Done. Now what is the step 2? Step 2. Consider 2 amperes. Remove 10 volts, 5 volts. So it will be 2 amperes. Short circuited 10 iy 2 amperes, right? There is a small mistake here. The resistance should be, there is one resistance, I have missed the resistance. 2 ohms is there. So here denominator will be 3 and you will get iy1 is equal to 10 by 13, right? Now for current source, consider here resistance is 2 volts, 2 ohm. So if you solve this iy2, you will get minus 4 by 13. You can check by solving, right? I assume that you are solving this question. Okay, I am just giving the steps here. And now neglect 2 ohms, neglect 10 volts, consider 5 ohms. The circuit will be it is open circuited. Current is iy. Volts. iy1, y3 actually, since it is not the actual circuit, and y3 2 ohms, 1 ohm. So by solving you got iy3 is equal to how much? 1 by 13. So total iy is equal to 10 by 13 minus 4 by 13 plus y by 13 is equal to 7 by 13. Now it is interesting question. SPT third model. It is called box model. And it's called box model. Yes. Now here the given question is, if I1 is equal to 10 amperes, I2 is equal to 5 amperes, then voltage Vx is equal to 20 volts. Okay. If I1 is equal to 20 amperes, I2 is equal to minus 5 amperes, then Vx is equal to 10 volts. Okay. Now if I1 is equal to I2 is equal to 5 amperes, what is the value of Vx? Okay. This model is called box model. The question, it is linear. See carefully. They have mentioned linear. Otherwise you should not apply SPT or some other homogeneity principle or other principles. Okay. Linearity, SPT. So here Vx is equal to A times of I1 plus B times of I2. Okay. This amount of Vx is, we don't know what is the value of A. It depends upon some A into I1, some B into I2. That is why when I1, I2 are changing, V is changing. So in first case, V20 A into I110 plus B into I25. In second case, V10 A into I120 plus B into I2 minus 5. By solving, you get A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2. So now Vx is equal to A1 into I1 15 plus B2 I2 15. Which what is the answer? 45 volts. Done. So these models are called box models. More box models, more problems to solve box models I will be providing in WhatsApp group or Telegram group which I have created. So I will be sharing the practice questions there. You can practice there and you can ask me doubts there, right? Now let us go for Thevenin's theorem. Interesting. Thevenin's theorem. Find I1. What is I1? I1 is the amount of current flowing through AB terminals. Okay, AB terminals. If or now see in the question the terminals are mentioned. Even if they are not mentioned, they will mention find current I1 flowing through 2 ohms. That means just mark one terminals across 2 ohms. Okay, now we should find the Thevenin's equivalent circuit across these terminals. First finding VTH. The steps to find VTH is remove element in terminals. Okay, step 2, find voltage available across terminals. This voltage is equal to VTH. Step 4, suppress sources means voltage source short circuit, current source open circuit. Then find R equivalent across terminals, right? If you have noted down these steps, then I will erase these steps and I will solve the problem, right? Let me explain the steps of Norton's theorem here itself. Here remove element, right? Remove element. In Norton's theorem, in the place of remove short circuit terminals, the terminal should be short circuited. Okay, write down these steps and see how I am following the same procedure. Find voltage across terminals. So find current flowing in terminals. This voltage is VTH, right? This current is equal to Norton's current, and R equivalence is same in both the cases. Okay, yeah. And I assume that you paused the video and you have noted down the steps, and now don't do anything, just see the steps and see how I am solving this question. First step, remove element and find VTH. 2 amperes, element has been removed. 1 volt, 1 ohm, 3 ohm. It is a voltage VTH. So what is the voltage VTH available in this? Amount of voltage VTH available in this is 2 amperes flowing here, right? So these 2 amperes will drop a voltage of 6 volts, and these 2 amperes will flow here also, will drop a voltage of 2 volts. So by KVL you can do this 1 volt, right? By KVL VTH is equal to plus 2 minus, right, plus 2 volts 1 volt. So VTH is equal to 2 plus 1, it is equal to 3 volts. So now step 2, suppress voltage source, yes, short circuit. Suppress current source, open circuit. Find resistance across terminals, 1 ohm, 3 ohms. So resistance across A and B is nothing but here R equivalent is equal to 1 ohm. So now step 3 is plot the resistance, plot the equivalent circuit. VTH parallel to RTH. It is an equivalent circuit across the terminal. For this we have done so far. So now replace that element back, which is 2 ohms. What is VTH? 3 volts. What is R equivalent? 1 ohm. It is 3. So now current I is equal to 3 by 1 plus 2, 1 ampere. This is what they have asked for, right? Done. Now find RTH across A and B. It is category 2 in Thevenin's. In here, why it is category 2? Because he have a dependent source. What kind of dependent source it is? It is voltage control current source. Since voltage is controlling the current, amount of current flowing through, it's called voltage control current source. Now find RTH across terminal A and B. So how to calculate RTH? What I said, suppress sources means step 2, suppress sources. Don't have a note. Do not suppress dependent sources. This is very important concept. You can't suppress dependent sources because the dependent sources is depending upon the voltage across an element, right? Yes. So voltage source is short circuited. There is 2 Vx. Is Vx plus minus 1 ohm. Yes. 2 ohm. And across terminal A and B, it is open circuited. They asked to find about RTH. To find RTH, one way is, since the circuit has nothing to do, we have a dependent source. So in circuits having dependent sources and no R, in the above circuit we have only circuits having only resistance. So you can easily calculate R equivalent. Now in this case we have a dependent source. How to calculate R equivalent when you have a dependent source? Excite the circuit which is provided with some voltage or current source. Now here I am exciting this entire circuit with help of say for example I am exciting with help of current source having 1 ampere. So this 1 ampere is going here and dropping a voltage of plus minus 2 volts. Okay, here 2 Vx current is coming, here 1 ampere current is coming. So here the amount of current is sum of current is 2 Vx plus 1 ampere is equal to, and here the current Vx, right? To drop a voltage of Vx, how much amount of current should fall? V equal to R. V is equal to I, you don't know, 1. So Vx amperes current should flow. So here is equal to Vx. Okay, so here to calculate Vx is equal to minus 1. If Vx is equal to minus 1, what is the voltage across the current source, which is V? This voltage is apply KVL. Voltage V is equal to 2 into 1 ampere minus Vx is equal to 2 minus 1 is equal to 3 volts. Now we know a current source having a current of 1 ampere having a voltage of 3 volts across is supplying to a network. So the resistance seen by this network across its terminal A and B is equal to V by I is equal to 3 volts by 1 ampere is equal to 3 ohms. So here RTH is equal to 3 ohms. The important takeaway here is if you have a dependent source, excite the circuit with current source or voltage source and solve. Done? Yes. Now here one more example. Let's do one thing. You solve this question and post the answer in the comment section. Same RTH, right? The circuit having voltage control current source. Now I will give a hint. The hint is excite these elements with a 1 ampere current source and find the voltage across this 1 ampere, and after that find V by 1 ampere, which will give RTH. So now solve this and drop the comment. Answer in the comment section. So Norton's equivalent. After a long time, Norton's equivalent. I will once again write the steps for Norton's equivalent. Step 1. Identify terminals. Identify terminals across which you wanted to form Norton's equivalent. Next, short circuit terminals. Next, find current flowing in short circuit, which is equal to Norton current. Step 4. Suppress sources. Do not suppress dependent source, and find RTH across terminals. Done. So let us solve the question. Find Norton's equivalent. First we will short circuit the terminals. Six ohms, 3 ohms, 18 volts. Terminal is short circuited. Current flowing is IN. So it is 3 amperes, 2 volts. This is current source in series, right? We convert into voltage source in current source in parallel, convert into voltage source in series. 2 ohms. Amount of voltage 3 into 2, 6 volts. 3 ohms, 18 volts, 6 ohms. Short circuit current IN. Now calculate IN for me. I will wait meanwhile. So did you done it? Solve for IN. If you solve, I covered the answer to do the solution. But this is normal finding current IN, right? Which is normal mesh analysis or so on. So IN is equal to, we get an answer 9 by 2 amperes. Now second step, finding RTH. For finding RTH, suppress sources. Voltage source is short circuited. Note, current source is open circuited, not short circuited. R equivalent 3 ohms, 6 ohms, 2 ohms. 3 parallel to 6, 3 into 6, 3 plus 6, 2 ohms, 2 ohms, this is equal to 2. Now R equivalent 4. Step 3, plot. The Norton's equivalence is current source in parallel to voltage, in parallel to resistance. Set terminals A and B. What is the current? 9 by 2 amperes. It is Norton's equivalent. So now today's lecture is over. So what we have understood today, let's have a short review. We have seen some special concepts having manipulation of current source. We have seen how the current is flowing in between two networks, path is required. We have seen source transformation. We have seen superposition theorem and its definition. We have seen Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem and its definition. We have solve problem in each case. Each case of Thevenin's theorem, having circuit having no dependent sources, circuit having no active only dependent sources, circuit having both active and dependent sources, right? This second category will become third category when you suppress sources, because when you suppress sources, active source will become 0 and you have only dependent sources. And how to calculate resistance in this category 3? Excite the network with some current source or voltage source and find equivalent current or voltage across the source and find RTH. Say for example, if I excite a network with a voltage source and you find that current is I1, so what is the resistance here? P by I. Done, right? And we have solved each example problems. SPT one normal problem, and SPT having dependent source, and SPT having box model, and more box models I will provide in WhatsApp or Telegram group for practice problems. And we have seen Thevenin's theorem category 1 having no dependent sources, and Thevenin's theory category 2 having one active source and dependent sources. It is converted into category 3 after suppressing voltage source, short circuiting to calculate RTH, and Thevenin's theorem having category 3. Here no active sources, only dependent sources, right? And one example for Norton's theorem, right? So guys, stay tuned to the channel, drop a like and subscribe for more content. It will be free. And one more announcement is there. GATE has announced this year 2021 dates starting from 5th of Feb to 5th of Feb. So the highlights of this year is 2 new papers has been added, and one candidate can apply and can give 2 exams. Say for example EEE and EC, so you can write 2 papers also. And third year students can give GATE also. And you know that GATE score is valid for 3 years. So even if you are third year, fourth year, and you have given GATE 2020, 2021, you have GATE now and you got a rank of 300. You have given GATE here, and say for example for some mistake you got a rank of 400. So now for PSUs in this year, because PSUs also will recruit from for 2 consecutive years, and IISc, IIT they will recruit for 3 consecutive years. Now you can apply any PSU with this GATE score, not this. For example, in 4th year you got a rank of 200, you can apply for this. So you have a flexibility. This is there in earlier times, maybe if I'm not wrong, way before 2010 or 11 or so and so, but not now. Now again the same concept has been introduced to IIT Bombay. So utilize this. Stay tuned. I will be guiding in every topic, and more problems or questions I will give.